We're going to answer the question of how to sell blocks of time to your customers and see those blocks of time in the standard time timesheet. So here you see a blank timesheet. You see a list of projects along the left hand side. We're going to focus on the TMS project, and you see a couple of blocks of time that we have presumably sold to our customers. The customer is able to then call in, get support, use that time freely, and then when the block of time is finished, then you would sell them another block of time. So your employees would simply go to these blocks of time and enter their hours in, and that would use up hours for that block. Now, another thing they can do is go to the View menu and choose Quick Tasks. Under the TMS project, you see both blocks of time. They're able to simply click on the checkbox to start and stop the timer. That would automatically put their time into the timesheet here. But before we put any time into the timesheet, I wanted to go over to the Project Tasks tab and show you how these blocks of time are set up. So as you sell the blocks, you can create new project tasks to represent them. Now what we're seeing here is all of the projects in the system. I'm going to go over to the left hand side and filter out. Click on this TMS project. That filters all the other projects out. So we're just looking at the TMS project. So here we see two blocks of time that we presumably have sold to the client. One for 50 hours, one for 100 hours. You can see in the actual work column that both of these have been used. They are 100% complete, and presumably we would not put any more time onto that. So to create a new block of time, we would simply select one of these so that it will copy some of the fields in there. Go to the Insert menu, choose New Project Task. Now you can name these anything you like, but I've basically just put in the purchase order for the block of time. The next thing you want to do is make sure that it's assigned to the correct project and client. That way when you run an invoice on this, you'll have the correct client there. Put in the number of hours that you've sold. So let's say we've sold 75 hours. You see right below that we've got a warning and an error. So we set this up so that Standard Time will warn us when we're approaching the end of this block of time at 75 hours, and it'll actually block us at 100% of the time. This allows us to go out and sell the next block of time before this one is completed. Make sure it's assigned to all users. Click Save and Close. Also want to make sure that the Quick Task checkbox is checked and that the completed checkbox is not checked. That will allow them to show up in the timesheet. So you see the new block of time, 75 hours, 0 hours for the actual work. We can go over to the timesheet and we see the new block of time. We can simply enter some hours in here and away we go. Or, as we showed before, we can go to the View menu, choose Quick Tasks. You see the blocks here. You can simply click on the checkbox to start and stop the timer. That will automatically put the hours into the timesheet just as I've done here. Anytime you put time into the timesheet, it's going to show up in the actual work column in the Project Tasks tab. So again, we had 75 hours, 4 hours of actual support time on this block of time. That's 5% complete. When it reaches about 75, you're going to want to go out and sell the next block. There are some other columns that we could display here. If we go to the View menu, choose Columns, you might consider displaying the remaining hours. So let's put that right up underneath the actual work. Click Close. You see the 75 minus the 4 is 71 hours. Now while we're in here, there's some other columns you might consider displaying, like the client rate or the cost client. These are some other numbers that you'll be able to track on this particular block of time. There are plenty of other columns that you can choose from there that will give you lots more information about each block of time, and you can track them as they progress. So once you complete one, you might consider also clicking the completed checkbox You see the strike through, meaning that that particular block of time is complete. Go back to the timesheet and it's gone. It's out of the list. So the employees can no longer put time into that. You also notice those error limits that we had on each of these tasks. And I happen to be an administrator, so I can proceed to put time into a block of time that has exceeded my error limit, but normal employees will not be able to. So this is a way for you to prevent employees from putting time into blocks that have already been completed. So hopefully this helps answer the question of how to sell blocks of time and use them in the standard time timesheet.